I give you the top 3 backup running backs in fantasy football. The top 3 handcuffs to own entering 2020. Kareem Hunt, Alexander Mattison, Tony Pollard.
Oh my.
Intro. Top 5 running backs. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show.
Take a lap.
Okay, now Kareem Hunt could be all by himself with another team, but the odds are, the way that things look right now, Kareem Hunt is probably staying in Cleveland in 2020. And I love it for Nick Chubb. You might be asking,
Why the hell would you love it, Smitty? When Kareem Hunt finally came back and was on the field, it hurt Nick Chubb.
You don't need to tell me that. I was one of the only analysts out there peddling, go get Kareem Hunt, even though he's missing half a year. Draft him. And I got ripped apart in comments left and right from people going, don't listen to Smitty, he's telling you to draft a guy that's out half a year. Kareem Hunt is that good. He's amazing. And if Nick Chubb goes down in 2020 and Hunt is on the roster in Cleveland, you won't miss a beat if you have Kareem Hunt to plug into your fantasy football lineup. These two guys together are a rock-solid, safe top 5 running back, much like Alexander Mattison and Cook were in 2019. Ironically, Stefanski, and I won't beat a dead horse on this because I have tons of content on Nick Chubb, but Stefanski coming over from Minnesota, we saw what he did in Minnesota with Dalvin Cook. Him coming over to Cleveland is a great thing for Nick Chubb. And to try and compare what Kareem Hunt did and what Nick Chubb did last year, even though Chubb was used a ton, it's not fair to compare how they're going to be used this year with how they were used last year when you have a new coach coming over that focused on funneling everything through the running game, which to me is an uptick for Nick Chubb of about 15 to 20% in terms of receiving yards and receptions, and I think he gets 1 or 2 receiving TDs in 2020. And I think Nick Chubb's going to be very effective in short yardage situations. Now, why am I talking Nick Chubb up so much if I love Kareem Hunt? Again, Kareem Hunt is the handcuff if he's in Cleveland, and he's the running back that doesn't miss a beat if you plug him into the starting lineup. You get top 5 running back numbers out of Kareem Hunt if he's in that starting lineup. And of course, you get top 5 running back numbers out of Chubb if in that lineup. There's no safer duo to own if you're talking about owning a duo to stave off injuries and all that. I get it if you're scared about Kareem Hunt in 2020, fearing that they're going to use him a ton, or if Nick Chubb gets hurt. I get that. If you want to stay away from Nick Chubb, that's fine. But understand that the Kareem Hunt standalone value is through the roof. But that's not to say I'm worried about Chubb, unless you don't cuff the two together, which is why Kareem Hunt is number 1 on this list. Number 1 handcuff in 2020 is this man right here. Next up, Alexander Mattison. Obviously just talked a lot about Alexander Mattison and how Stefanski leaned on both of these guys. Stefanski in Minnesota ran so much that the amount of work they gave to Mattison didn't really impact Cook at all. That's why I'm not worried about Hunt eating into Chubb's work. I think there's room for both in a Stefanski style offense. Now, I don't need stats or historical data to tell me that Hunt, Mattison, and Pollard have what it takes to be a top 5 running back per start. They pass the eye test for me, especially Mattison. This guy is a beast, and I'm so excited to own him standalone. Same for Hunt. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if you make my top 3, top 5, top whatever handcuff list, that means that you have a ton of standalone value. So this video is not just for the person that needs to cuff these guys. It's really like an alarm going off saying, if you are crafty, if you don't get Dalvin Cook, if you're not in a draft slot that affords you to get Chubb or Dalvin Cook, you need to go get Hunt, you need to go get Mattison, and you need to get Pollard. You need to get all 3 of these guys and put them on your bench. Maybe for trade value, maybe to win your league if one of these guys gets into the lineup and starts producing top 5 to 10 running back numbers. The theme here is these guys are top 5 to 10 running backs if in the lineups for their teams. That's the lesson here. I'm making this video for the crafty mofo out there. Yeah, you. I'm looking at you, Double A, and it's that person that goes and gets a different player or has to draft a different player because they're not in a position to get, Dalvin Cook, and still goes and scoops up these guys for your secret weapon bench arsenal, superhero hidden gem giant sitting on your bench ready to win your league. Tony Pollard. People quickly forget that Zeke Elliott was potentially going to hold out 3 or 4 or 5, 6 games last year. And even under the assumption that you'd get only 3, 4, 5 starts out of Tony Pollard, he was going in the 3rd and 4th round in a lot of fantasy football drafts in August. That tells you how valuable this guy looks in that offensive starting. Standalone value through the roof. I put him number 3 for a reason. If in that lineup, top 5 to 10 running back numbers. If you own Zeke Elliott, you have to get Tony Pollard. The real lesson here is if you own any one of the 3 starting running backs ahead of these 3 guys, you better reach a good round and a half so you don't miss out on somebody getting cute and grabbing your handcuff before you have a chance to do it. Don't be the guy that goes,
well, damn. I didn't get Kareem Hunt because I sat around on my ass.
Or, hey, shoot, I tried to squeeze another round and a half out of Alexander Mattison. Well, good luck if something happens to Dalvin Cook. And Tony Pollard, he's got to be dirt cheap right now. Maybe an injury or some kind of news in the offseason makes his value climb again. But until further notice, this guy is the cheapest one out of them all. If you don't land Tony Pollard cuffed to your Zeke Elliott, there's something wrong with you, buddy. And honorable mentions go to Lat Murray and Darrell Henderson. I think these guys could be monsters if asked to start games in 2020. Thought I'd throw those 2 out there for you. Stand alone, win a league talent right here. That's the lesson I want you to take away from this show. Subscribe, follow, tell your friends, tell the person at the water cooler, walk into a random sports bar and say, I want the Fantasy Football Show sandwich and I want it now. Promote the show. Top 5 running back. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show.